Satnam. This is Satput Kaur coming to you from Espanola, New Mexico, and wanted to address this Dharma talk space once again. I overheard a conversation or joined a conversation the other day that made me recognize how much we still misunderstand the notion of karma and use it as a weapon, weaponized karma. So what I want to address is how we weaponize karma and why we should stop. Dharma is this path of righteousness. What is righteousness? This path of right living, this path of compassion, of kindness, of living in the present moment. And so when we think of karma and we think about the different ways people use karma. So here's an example of how karma is used, I think, in negative ways. Someone gets sick and the person says, oh, it's their karma. Well, of course, it is a karma, but when we use it as a way to demean people's choices or to demean people's experience, then we're not using karma in an empowered way. All karma means is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So there's seeds. In the Buddha tradition, we have the opportunity in each and every moment of our lives to burn seeds of karma through right action. That is, create positive karma by doing good things and burning up or lessening the impact of negative karmas from the past by doing good things in the present. For me, the most illuminating thing that ever happened to me around karma was when I realized whatever I do today is going to change how I feel tomorrow. That was my most immediate notion of what karma meant for myself. Whatever I do today is going to change how I feel tomorrow. And so if I wanted to feel differently, I had to act differently today. And that's still true. It's true around food. It's true around my behaviors with my friends or my husband or my family. This is the most immediate sense of karma that we can know. Now, karma is a vast, vast topic. And if we understand or relate to reincarnation in any way, karmas accumulate over lifetimes. And that's a karma that we don't necessarily understand or intellectually can point to, okay, this happened because that happened. And I think that's where people get lost, right? But how we use karma as a weapon instead of as a tool is when we say, oh, that's their karma. And it's a way for people who think of themselves as spiritual practitioners to dismiss their own behavior and or to not be accountable for the things they've done in the past. And this is what I overheard over the weekend. And I hear it a lot. That whatever someone's experience was because of their soul's contract and past lifetimes karma, whatever happens to them in this lifetime, that's their karma. And the people who inflicted that pain or who were associated with the behaviors don't feel like they have to take any accountability for it because it's their karma. Now, today is Martin Luther King Day. And as a country, we have very, very heavy karmas. And it would be easy for us, in the comfort of our own homes and the ease of our own lives, to say, oh, and this is another negative way people use karma, poor people, that's their karma. And it's a way for us to disengage any accountability we have as resourced people for the plight of other people in America or around the world, for that matter. And Martin Luther King would absolutely negate that notion, yeah? His Poor People's Campaign was a way to make capitalism and American culture accountable to the fruits of its past. Capitalism is not built on some positive notion of work ethic among the great, Protestant elite. Capitalism is built on slavery, the backs of other human beings. And whether it's slavery from the past or whether it's contemporary wage slavery, the elites of this country are still making their millions off the backs of workers. And that is not their karma, that is social policy. And the reason I started thinking about karma was because I am, in my own life, struggling with the notion of duality. And as yogis, our definition is given by Yogi Bhajan to see beyond good and bad. But I read a quote from the Dalai Lama the other day, and it said something to the effect of, everything is love, and anything outside of love is ego, is man's will. And so that takes the notion of good and bad out of the realm of God and into the realm of ego, into the realm of humans' mindset. And then I started thinking about the origin of the duality, right? The splitting of the one consciousness into Shiva Shakti. There is no good and bad in Shiva Shakti. So the original polarity has nothing to do with good and bad, dark and light, good and evil. It has to do with qualities of perception, qualities of relationship, and modes of being. And then those two modes then split into the 5 qualities, or the tattvas, the gunas and then the tattvas, right? So this notion of good and evil, I still have a lot of thinking to do around it. But karma is a simple action and reaction. And the empowered way to look at karma is that what I do today will change how I feel tomorrow. Now, there's so much around that notion that we don't understand because karmas accumulate and karmas have environmental karmas and social karmas. But on a day-to-day basis, the way to be empowered is to say, if I do something different, I'll feel different tomorrow. And the empowered way to use it as a friend and as a family member is to not shame people. Oh, that's just your karma. How is that helpful? And so I feel like we have to step back from and ask ourselves, what place in us needs to separate ourselves from the experience of other people by saying, that's just your karma? Because it's our inability to be with, to recognize the other person as myself, that allows me that defense mechanism of, oh, that's just your karma, and allows me to not be accountable for your experience, allows me to not have to engage and transmute karma to dharma, to relationship, to right living. So as spiritual practitioners, we have to really check ourselves, gut check ourselves of, where is this, oh, that's just their karma, coming from? Where is this place in us that needs to say, that's not mine to deal with? That's not mine to be accountable for or to take care of. And which leads us to this question of duality. And is the duality actually good and evil, or is the duality a natural polarity of Shiva and Shakti, the dance of life? And that it's the human's ego, the human's mind, that creates the negative, or is the negative part of God's world? That's what I'm still meditating on, and we'll talk about that more. But I wanted to talk about karma because we use it in such a negative way when it's really just the most neutral energy in the universe. It's not personal. It's very neutral. And we can use it as a way to empower our action today and not punish ourselves for the past, but to accept living in the consequences of decisions we have made in the past. But it's not a tool to judge other people. So, in light of Dr. Martin Luther King, may we all work for peace, not just pray for it. May we all act consciously, not just react. And may we use the light of our consciousness to help other people light their light. Satnam.